Well, we're off on a road trip today to Ica. Ica's the provincial capital of this area. Chincha, where we live, is in the Ica region. So we're heading south right now. There's the sand dune that we had next to us, well, on the right hand side when we were heading north the other day towards Lima. We will travel progressively more and more into the desert, so it will become more desert as we head south. Over this way, I don't know what those trees are. They're most probably mesquite. They're some sort of desert dwelling tree anyway. But this factory, as you can see, a factory coming into view, is an anchovy factory, and you can see the vessels parked out, the fishing vessels. Massive anchovy industry in Peru, but they don't eat anchovies. Anchovies is to be made into meal for the pigs. It's pig food. They don't know what they're missing. I don't know how the hell you can have a Caesar salad without anchovies, or a pizza without anchovies. I guess the people that have pizza without anchovies would probably also have pineapple as well, which speaks for itself, really. But there you go. This is heading towards the south. We're just passing the turn off to Pisco. Pisco's down that way. Pisco's claim to fame, I guess, is it's a port. It's one of the major ports in Peru. Peru doesn't have very many ports. The coastline's very exposed, but at least there is a port here. It's also a major Air Force base at Pisco, and I guess it's probably named after the drink, or the drink is named after Pisco, one way or the other. Pisco's the national alcoholic drink of Peru. It's a spirit. You take wine and you distill the alcohol out of it, and you've got pure rocket fuel that you could easily run the car on, I guess. But that's how they make it, and that's the national spirit. This area that we're coming into now is called Paracas. There was its claim to fame. It's a pretty nice area, and there's pretty nice hotels and stuff here. But its claim to fame was there was a civilization from many years ago. The police are having a bit of an exercise over there on the other side of the road. Yeah, there was a civilization that practiced binding probably from babies, binding their heads so that they grew up into either a cone-shaped head, or bind the back of their head so it grew outwards like alien. And there's all sorts of skeletons and things that they found that have done that practice. We're 236 kilometres from south of Lima right now.
28 degrees.
But I'll try and find a couple of those pictures and put them in. Yeah, it's about 10:30 in the morning, and it's 28 degrees. 28 degrees is about 85, 86, 87 Fahrenheit, something like that, which for Peru is probably fairly warm. It probably won't go above 30 today. I doubt it will.
Humidity.
30's seriously high for Peru. And it doesn't usually go below 10 even at night time. Maybe the desert will, but it's fairly stable temperature. The cause for that is just over there is the ocean, just on the other side of those sand dunes. And the water temperature, the ocean seawater temperature is ridiculously cold. It comes, the Humboldt Current runs straight up from the South Pole, straight up the west coast of South America and even North America before it crosses over the Pacific and warms up and goes back down again. It's got this huge, great cycle happening. But anyway, this will eventually turn into a wine growing area as we move further along. No idea where they get the water from. No idea at all. This is the Piaje, which is toll booths. Beauty, we'll get airborne over this speed bump. I still have trouble getting used to the fact they put speed bumps on the highway.
That's a serious one.
That's beauty, yeah. But it slows you down, I must admit. The first time the suspension falls off the car, you slow down seriously after that. Hopefully we've got a card reader that just takes our money out of the bank automatically. Yeah, we're on a day trip to Ica, which is the regional capital. We're going to try and catch up with a friend there who's a fellow Chinook owner and flyer and motorbike rider, much like myself, I guess. And yeah, we'll catch up with him for lunch, so you probably won't see that, but I'll try and show you whatever I can around Ica that's of any interest at all. Some of those speed bumps are quite nasty.
That's for letting pedestrians across the street.
Looks like an onion truck with probably a Venezuelan stowaway.
Most likely.
We used to see this a lot. People hitching rides on transport. Actually, they look more like oranges than onions. But yeah, you used to see lots of people hitching a ride on trucks, and the truckers would put spiny vines on the back of their truck or barbed wire or whatever to try and prevent people climbing on board. But this trip I haven't seen much of it. This guy might well be the farmer catching a ride into town or something, I don't know. This bus, they run from Lima at least to Ica, maybe a little bit further, but at least to Ica. There must be dozens and dozens and dozens of, there's another one going the other way, but they run about every 10 minutes, maybe 10, 15 minutes. And if you live out here somewhere and you want to catch the bus into town, you just hail the bus. If you don't want a motor taxi. And yeah, the bus pulls over, picks you up, sells you a ticket, and away you go to town. There will be bus inspectors along the way that'll hop on the bus and make sure that everybody on the bus has got a ticket and that the driver hasn't decided to just start selling his own tickets out of his own pocket and ripping the bus company off. So there will be bus inspectors along the road as well, and they just stop the bus and hop on and let's have a look at everybody's ticket. It's a system that sort of works. Unfortunately, stopping in the middle of nowhere to pick people up is also sort of rife for kidnappings and stuff like that. So, you know, you take your chances. There's also express buses that you catch in Lima, and it only stops at a couple of places in the townships themselves before it gets to the destination. Now, there's a fruit stall. You need some fruit. We've got mandarinas and grapes and
Watermelon.
Apples. Watermelon. I saw a woman selling sliced watermelon back a bit further. Well, here we are coming into Ica now. This is that sand dune there is one of the features of Ica. We're just on the northern outskirts of the township at the moment, or the city limits, I suppose you'd call it. But this is actually Ica. It's reasonably nice. It's as good as you're going to get, and it's in the middle of the desert, so it's, you know, obviously there's water here, there's trees, and there's people. You're not going to live too long without water. But something I did want to show you is over there on the left, those white things that look like little units, little flats. Where are we? Just there, behind that Cruz del Sur bus, which I hadn't seen today. Those flats are actually burial sites. They bury people above ground here. Ground's too valuable. And look at that, there's dozens and dozens and dozens of blocks. Probably, by the looks of things, probably 5 or 6 or more high. Some of these ones are quite fancy, in fact, down this end. But anyway, they're the things that I remember about Ica anyway. And we're heading a little bit south of Ica now, not very far, right? Maybe only 10 kilometres or something like that. This is probably the premier tourist attraction of Ica. See these sand dunes in the background, and over there on the right, and probably over in the left behind those hotels. They sort of drift. That is drifting sand as well. They don't tend to move a whole lot, but they can. People take advantage of that. There's lots of dune buggies and stuff that you can go on. You can rent a seat in a dune buggy. Basically, you get a driver, and they generally got big old American V8s in them and this sort of stuff, and they go hooning around the sand dunes at obviously at breakneck speed, which is good fun. And you can rent sand boards as well and go on. They chuck you off the top of the sand dune, you go sliding down 400 kilometres an hour. It's good fun. But let's see what else we can find. Thinking I might have to speed up this bit of the video, but maybe I won't. Maybe Jasmine's speeding it up already. Hey. Ta-da! And we come across this settlement in the middle, which is Wakachina, which is your absolute classic oasis in the middle of the sand dunes. There's surface water, and all these buildings are built around that oasis or lake, which is just on the other side of these buildings here. We'll come back and have a look at that in a minute. I think he was trying to attract our attention because he wants to sell us a ride on one of those dune buggies. This is Wakachina. I estimate that sand dune to be probably about 300 feet high, and it runs pretty much all the way around. You see some cars up there or one dune buggy there with a load of passengers, and surface water with birds and all sorts of waterfowl and so on. It's the classic oasis, no two ways about it. There's somebody hooning around up there. They're pretty good. You go, flat to the boards up towards the top and do a stall turn just before you get to the top. Shondell, come back down again. And there's usually, 20 or 30 of those things. This goes a long way. It goes a long way over the other side of those hills. It's not just this little bit of sand dune here, it goes forever.
And that's the best spot for taking pictures
On top of that sand dune?
Yep, where the car's already parked.
Okay, well I'll give you the camera and you run up there and get some photos. How's that?
No.
But there you go. These buildings, there's buildings all the way around as well that have been here for years and years and years. We'll try and zoom out. This camera's, I hate the way it operates, but anyway, yeah, there's some of these buildings have been here for forever. There's all sorts of hostels and accommodation and that sort of thing. But yeah, that's Wakachina. Good day, man. Souvenirs.
That's what Mom loves.
Which one?
Raspadilla.
Do another little wander around here. That's some paddle boats out in the middle there, and some blue ones over here. Another hostel or whatever it is. It's a pretty nice area, no question. And then that's where we came from down there. And of course the dune buggies and things are still wandering around, waddling around up there. But yeah, they're really quite big sand dunes. Jasminita there with Poppy Brolly. Well, we've had our lunch. We met with Carlos for lunch. It was lovely. We managed to reach the 33 degrees, which 33 degrees is probably about 99 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, it's lovely and warm. It's probably a good reason why it's desert and sand dunes and all that sort of thing all over the place. But yeah, we're heading back to Chincha now. Back through Ica on our way to Chincha. There's a beautiful mural for you. Somebody had way too much time on their hands. Good job. But anyway, that's Ica.